I'm on the mic, yo, rip up the bass. My DJ is live in the place. I'm on the mic with my lyrical flow. I like it when the bass line's low.
This episode is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. It's a subscription-based box that I always use. They actually just sent me some like facial stuff, which actually made my skin super soft, and I think I'm hooked on that product now. But they have all sorts of stuff. They have like razors, they have skin care, hair care, you name it, they have it all. And what's cool about it is that they have it's a box, so you can add and remove stuff as you go, and it's not that expensive, and they'll just ship it to you. Sometimes I forget to order razors, and before I know it, some more razors show up, or I don't. Before I had this, I would forget to buy razors, like when you go buy groceries and stuff like that. I'd always forget razors. But with this, they would always send it to me, and I had it way before even the sponsorship. So, check them out. The link's going to be in the description. And I just found out that the Junkie Chicanos are almost going to release it. There's 10,000 of them, NFTs. I don't know if you've heard of NFTs, but it's a new and upcoming thing. Those are going to start minting soon, so go follow them on Instagram. That link is also going to be in the description. It's going to be on the Solana platform, so if you don't have Solana, I suggest you go buy some.
Start buying Solana right now
and sign up for your crypto wallet and all those things. It's really easy. We're going to do a video for you guys so you guys can get a gist of it.
Kind of walk through.
So, and then also PNW Gear, we can't forget about them. They have all sorts of like little EDC gear, lanyard beads, you name it, lighters. They have all sorts of stuff. Go and check them out. Their link is also going to be in the description. I like the little toothpick. I use that thing all the time.
Yeah, you're gonna mess around with it all day. Yeah.
You never know when you need a metal toothpick. So, all right, we're live. Welcome back to Mescal and Moguls. It's your boy, the one with the SkarxFace. Your boy, SkarxFace. And today I'm with the co-host, John.
What up, guys? Back again. Today we kind of scored a pretty good guest.
Yeah, and I've been I've been following him for a while. I've been watching his videos just because during the whole pandemic, I got into the whole overlanding thing and the whole van life. Yeah. And I think a lot of people got into the van life during that time. Yeah. And I started researching online. I ran into his YouTube, then, his Instagram. And then luckily enough, we have him on the podcast today. Yeah. And today we have Talon SEI.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, and
what's going on, guys?
You're a YouTuber, entrepreneur. Like, you do everything. I was like following you. You have your own clothing brand now too as well.
Yeah, I do a little bit of everything. I mean, I started doing YouTube full time, and I realized that I needed to basically make it a business because it 100% is. So kind of got my hands in a little bit of everything, and just kind of figuring stuff out as I go.
Cool. And I mean, we wanted to get to know you, and I'm sure the listeners want to get to know you. So I'm going to, kind of start in the beginning. Where are you originally from?
I grew up in Eastern Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. And about like in the country. I always just tell people Philadelphia, but I'm really like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours outside the city. It's where I grew up. And since then, I went to school at Penn State University. So I have 2 degrees in IT, information security, and stuff like that. And it seems like just yesterday, but I started my YouTube channel about 5 years ago. Oh, wow. And I've been a full-time creator now for about 3.5 years. Okay. Out of those 5 years. And
so you said that's where you went to school, right? What were your original plans? Like, were you gonna be like some sort of IT tech? Like, what were your goals in the beginning?
Yeah, I graduated from Penn State University back in 2014, and I worked in the IT like corporate world for about 5 years, and then I think about 2 years into like having a legit career, I started making YouTube videos because I was an IT consultant. So I would travel around to new cities all the time, and I was consuming a ton of YouTube. I had already known how to run a camera and edit a little bit. So I was consuming all this cool like vlog style content. And I was like, I travel a lot. My life is interesting enough that I think I could like tell some stories about the places I'm at and people I meet and things along those lines. And I just challenged myself to make 1 video a week. And next thing you know, 2.5 years later, I was making more money for myself than I was traveling around the country doing IT stuff. So I eventually took the plunge, quit my job, and this is what I'm doing now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like it's funny how a little bit of consistency and then just like, because people, I mean, we see it all the time. Somebody will start a YouTube, put out a video, 2 videos, and they don't see those views go up. They don't see like I'm assuming they expect like an overnight success type of, go viral and then live off YouTube, but it takes a little bit of time. Like you said, it took you 2.5 years. And then when I was talking to Aaron, I don't know if you know Aaron Malone from Gideon's Tactical, he also has a YouTube channel and he's doing the full time. Well, he's doing RV life. He bought an RV and everything like that. And he also said it took a long time. He's doing the RV because he took his entire family. He has 2 kids, a wife, and him. And he stopped by here too, so it's really cool how a lot of people's stories, especially in YouTube, is like if you're consistent and you put out, good quality content. I mean, don't just record some random stuff.
I think that's the key. Most people just put content out, and it's kind of like we were talking about like the podcast the other day. If you have like really bad quality like audio, most people will tune out. And so like if you don't have good content, no matter how much you post or how long you post, it's not gonna benefit you at all. Yeah, for sure.
Audio quality definitely should come first over video, because there's so many people who like throw on videos at work and they might not be looking at the video, but if the audio quality is good, they'll keep listening and watching. But if the audio is bad, then they're going to click off of that real fast.
Yeah, for sure.
And then it also goes a long way. When you can nail your audio, you just sound a little bit more professional. They're like, oh, they got some good quality stuff. Instead of, I've listened to some people's podcasts where they don't want to invest like $50-$60 in a USB mic or anything like that. They just use their headphones from their Apple iPhones, and you can hear the echo. You can hear it just sounds horrible. And just investing, which is cool. Like right before we jumped on the podcast, you got your microphone, your own headset. Not a lot of people have that stuff, especially when we've done Zoom. They sometimes use their just their phone, and you can hear the echoes and stuff like that. So I mean, and because you also have a podcast too as well.
Yeah, I did a podcast just like for like really close followers. It's a lot of just like me and my friends, like inside jokes or drinking and just like talking about just dumb stuff all the time. But you don't need a ton of good gear to do YouTube. Like, I mean, I just got the new iPhone recently. I'm not one to upgrade my phone all the time, but I went from like a 10 to the 13, and the camera quality on this is phenomenal. So I'll use this as like a supplemental camera on my main channel. Typically, like I have all my camera stuff sitting here in my office, but typically I'm running around with like, this is an expensive-ish setup, but this is professional camera, lens, mic, everything. I use it every day. When I started my YouTube channel, I started on one of these little things right here. It's just like a little point and shoot. The audio quality, not great, but it was enough to get me started. I never got into YouTube to make a living doing it. I just like watching videos. So I was like, I'm just going to share my story. And the main thing is obviously having the content, putting together a story that's watchable. You can easily listen to it. And then once you get the content nailed, then you can start working on getting better gear and also the technique of running a camera. Like anyone can pick this up and take decent video. But then when it comes to photos and more professional video, when you upgrade to more expensive gear, then you got to learn the ins and outs of how to frame stuff, color grading, and just everything related to a camera, really.
I like that you said your iPhone 13. We run this through a lot. And I think we sound like broken records by this point. But a lot of people, especially you, get more reach out for sure. They're like, oh, I'm thinking about doing video or thinking about doing pictures or blah, blah, blah. And like, what should I buy? And off the bat, they want to buy this expensive. But like, we always say like the phone's like perfectly fine.
I tell them, I'm glad you brought it up, because I tell them the first thing, and I know it's not something they want to hear. The reason I tell them, use your phone in the beginning, just because if it's something you actually love doing, like say you go out and take pictures on your phone, because you can take some decent pictures on a phone, especially the newer iPhones. If you love doing that and then editing, because people love the whole idea of like taking photos, videos, YouTube channel. But as soon as they get to the editing part, that's where everyone falls off. I was like, sure. If you fall in love with that process, I was like, then you can upgrade your equipment, buy a new camera, I don't know which camera are you running right now?
I've run in, so my main video camera is the Canon EOS R. My vlog lens is like a 15 to 35. So this is what I shoot most of my videos on. And then I have the same body, but with different lens sets for photos. So when I'm out, like I'm actually editing a video right now. We were out on the trails yesterday. Instead of swapping out gear all the time, like switching lenses, I'll just use this for video and these for photos, because I've been getting more into photos recently too. A lot of people come to me with those same questions though. They're like, I have this great idea for a YouTube channel and I'm going to do this, that, blah, blah, blah. And they're looking for advice. Like, what gear should I get? How do I do this, that, and whatever? And the first question I always ask, especially when someone's like real gung ho about that, I'm like, okay, you want to start a YouTube channel. You have this idea. Have you made any videos yet? Like, you should be making videos before you decide to even upload them to YouTube, whether you just keep them on your computer, share them with your friends or whatever. Like, you got to take the first step. You can't just, a lot of people will talk a lot before taking any action. And I'm the complete opposite of that. Like, even especially now that I'm doing YouTube full time and I'm working on all these projects, I won't even hint or mention anything that I'm working on until it's already coming to fruition. So yeah, like start with your camera phone, start with just whatever you have and just do it before you think about like investing more time and money into it.
Yeah. And it's crazy how like, sadly, I've seen some people who went and bought a bunch of equipment and then they ended up just not loving the whole process, you know. For us, we love the whole content creating, and I'm sure you do too. Like, to me, it's fun creating something like, and then like sharing it to people, whether it be like pictures or videos, and just getting their reaction. I love the whole editing process because then you can make it your own, you know, your own style and things like that. So I'm glad you mentioned that, just so people listening can see that you were more in like, you wanted to make the content. You weren't worried about, I need to have the best equipment. Of course, if you at the time you could have got the equipment, you would have been like, yeah, I'll get all this. But you learn as you go, and you're like, maybe I should get, you know, upgrade my camera, get better quality, you know, video and audio, and then slow on. You start getting all this equipment, because to buy everything at once, I mean, you know, a camera, a body, the lenses are super expensive depending on which lens you go with. And people don't realize that they think it's, you know, you just go. I mean, I started with a Canon T6i and just with a kit lens on it, you know, and then, but I fell in love with the process. And so then I upgraded. Now I have the Canon R6. I have like multiple lenses for that, which are expensive. Like for those like people that know
people
cameras.
Don't understand that I think the most important part is like the glass. The glass is like, if you're going to invest into this, like the body is like great and all, but the glass is what literally breaks your bank, man. Like you're trying to get, like I know, saw a picture on your Instagram. I think you have like the good, like basically the run for everything. You have like the wide angle with the 18 to 35 and then the 24 to 70, which is perfect. You can get away with that for basically anything. Yeah, and then you have the 70 to 200, right?
Yeah, my lens set basically, like my running gun lens is the 15 to 35, so it's super wide. I can handhold the camera and like get everything I want in frame. And then I have a medium length lens. If I'm doing a lot of like talking head stuff, I'll put on a 24 to 70. Yeah. So that covers the mid range. And then my main photo lens is a 70 to 200. Yeah. And like this lens is super expensive, and I would never recommend this to anyone unless you're like already a professional. And if you're a professional, then you already know what a lens like this is capable of. So it's cool. A lot of people get too obsessed with the gear early on, and it just doesn't work out.
You know, and talking about content, like, or, you know, wanting to do content, what were some of the first videos that you were doing? Were they like vlogs, or were they,
when I decided to make a YouTube channel, like I said, I was already watching a lot of YouTube, and I was going on to a new assignment in Boston, Massachusetts, and I was going to be living in a hotel up there for a while. So I ended up living in a hotel room for like 9 months while I was on this project. And that's when I got like this little point and shoot camera. I invested in a computer, and this is not something that I would even recommend for people to do, because years before this, I mean, I've been making videos well before like the YouTube channel that everyone knows about. And I would just carry around a GoPro or like a little flip camera or record stuff on my phone. So I knew I had enough experience that I knew what I wanted to get and how I wanted to go about doing it. So little point shoot camera, MacBook to edit on. And then I was just like driving around the city, skateboarding, going to bars, just like straight up vlog stuff. Like I'm waking up today, don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to bring a camera and document everything.
And so it started with the vlogs things. And did any of those videos, or which video, because everyone runs into a video like, oh, I released this video, and then all of a sudden it just like shot up.
Pops up from there.
Yeah. So I didn't have that for probably like a year to a year and a half into making videos. So I think my subscriber growth was like 500 subscribers after the first year. And then may have been like 15, it might have been like 10,000 then after the next. And I started getting more into like my hobbies. I have so many hobbies, like knives, firearms, skateboards, vehicles, like everything. So a few of my electric skateboard videos performed pretty well because they were searchable. I was reviewing them in like my own style, just talking about what I liked about them and everything. And they performed better than just a standard vlog. And then I started making firearm content, which now is completely frowned upon on YouTube. And that's a whole other story. But I started showing some of the guns that I've built and things like that. And this one pistol that I built a while ago, I still have it. For some reason, it exploded. It was like my first viral video. And then I was gaining subscribers super fast. So I decided, okay, people like this style of content. So, and this topic. So I'm going to put like one video a week on my channel. At this point, I was probably doing 2 or 3 videos a week, but I was dedicating one video to firearms, and I called it Sunday Gun Day. So that video ended up getting like 8.5 million views until YouTube destroyed me, and I had to take it down. And we can talk about that too. But so the firearm stuff is what like I saw exponential growth early on. And then like I transitioned into just whatever I'm interested in at the time. So motorcycles, like right now I'm doing motorcycles, vehicles, between my van. I just built a truck. I'm doing a lot of different things, and all the firearm stuff is now on a channel of its own. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't jeopardize like the stuff that I truly love. It's a hard balance.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up the gun thing, because I think shout out to Baby Yoda for making this happen. She mentioned like she does gun stuff, right? Like gun stuff, knife stuff, and then we also do the media over at Tops Knives, and we have an issue with posting like knives because, especially like TikTok right now
hates us, man.
they hate us. If we post say I had a knife, I'll have them over there. But say I had a knife and I posted it and just show it, flagged, violated community guidelines, you name it. But if we post a video of us destroying stuff, completely fine.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it makes no sense. And like I tried. I have a TikTok. I don't post on it very often, but whenever a new big platform comes out, I got to try to like see what it's all about and everything. So I gained followers really fast over there. I didn't promote it like anywhere else, like Instagram or YouTube, but the algorithm was crazy. And then I uploaded a video. I think it was just the intro to my Sunday Gun Day channel, immediately taken down. I was like, all right. And it wasn't like I'm in a safe environment. I was on my own range. I was just shooting. There's music in the background, whatever. It's just like a cool little clip. And yeah, they crack down on all that stuff.
And then it's funny because on TikTok, you have these girls who are like basically nude.
Naked, dude.
Yeah, straight up.
And then you post something that even if you're trying to be like, hold like a safety class, like holding a gun, no, you're done. Oh, like right now on TikTok, we're banned because I posted a video and it was just like it was nothing bad, and they banned us, and we're banned for like a week. We can't post anything, and
they ban you for timelines like that.
Dude, if you keep violating the guidelines, they keep extending your time. First it was a day, then it was like 2 days,
2 or 3 days.
Now it's a week,
and it's kind of like how do I explain it? So we capitalize a lot on TikTok at work. And so like we'll put effort into some of these videos that go onto TikTok. And then you kind of like cross your fingers the minute you're trying to hit the button to upload.
Yeah.
And it gets like, dude, like it's so like, I don't even know how to explain it, man. Cause
It's frustrating.
Yeah. It gets to the point that you're like, so do we make videos for this or like, but like TikTok is great. Like it has a really good algorithm when it works, but like when it doesn't, like scratching your head, and I'm like, so what do I do with this video?
Yeah.
But it's whatever.
That happened to me obviously with the whole firearm thing. And the best way that I describe it is that it was so demotivating because I would put in all this effort into videos, and those videos specifically cost me a ton of money and a ton of time. And then by the time you upload it, it's demonetized, it's not getting recommended, and it gets like, even my videos now, they'll get like 5,000 views. And I'm like, I'm motivated to make them because I enjoy making videos. But at the same time, when it doesn't have the reach that it should or that it had in the past, I'm like, I'm not going to stop, but I'm like, why am I still doing this? It doesn't benefit me at all because I want to share this information and this cool content with people. But if it's getting suppressed like that, I'm just wasting a ton of time and a ton of money, and I'm not really getting anything out of it. So
I know you talked about you would do those videos and they would go viral, and that's where you got your extreme growth. And then everybody went through, because YouTube changed the way they were doing their AdSense and things like that. That's how a lot of content creators get paid on YouTube. You know, it's through the Google AdSense. So when they started like cracking down on firearms, did you instantly start seeing your did they warn you, or did they just demonetize all your videos that had firearms in it?
Instantly demonetized. They pulled my channel from the partner program. Ooh. So for people who don't know, the partner program is essentially how you can have ads on your videos to then make a little bit of money in return. And granted, like from the beginning, that was the first way I made money on YouTube, but then I since expanded into like affiliate marketing and partnerships with companies and things like that. Yeah. But when they pulled my channel from the partner program, I was pulled for like 6 months until I could get a fix.
Oh, wow.
Definitely had to hurt.
Cut off, dude, they cut off all ties. So I couldn't even talk to creator support. And I had, at this point, I probably had maybe 250,000 subscribers. Mm. So like in the grand scheme of things, not a huge creator, but big enough that I should have contact with YouTube. So I missed out on a ton of money. Like I share the figure with like friends and stuff, and I'll tell you guys offline, but like I missed out on a lot of money because I'm getting millions and millions of views a month with like no ads on the videos. So what ended up happening was, to get everything back monetized on my main channel, I took down like 100 plus videos of firearm stuff. Dang. I deleted close to 30 million views worth of videos from my channel in like one fell swoop. Dang. And then I re-uploaded them to a new channel, knowing well that it wasn't going to be monetized, but hoping that they could then re-monetize my main channel. Mm-hmm. And then this is like super long story short, but I did get my main channel monetized again. So I don't do firearm stuff on my main channel anymore. And then just like, I think it was this past year, it might've been in October or something, randomly got pulled from the partner program again, my main channel. And I was like, great, here we go again. I'm not doing anything against their policies. Like I didn't know what the issue was, but it ended up being flags that still remained on my channel from the videos that I had deleted. So there were 100 videos on my channel. Some of them got flags because people were reporting it and whatever. Deleted those videos, but those flags remained. And then YouTube swipes everyone's channels when they change their policies and do algorithm changes. They can't even explain how it works. And those flags were still there, and I can't see them. Only like back end YouTube people can see it. So they pulled me. And then luckily I've been working with like 2 different agencies who have dedicated partner reps, like contacts at YouTube. So I texted them immediately. I'm like, yo, can you help me with this? And they got it reversed in like 3 days or so. The main problem with that though, is that when you get pulled from the partner program, your views and everything just kind of stops. It like flatlines, plateaus, and even drops a little bit. So I'm still kind of going through that a little bit. Like my videos are not performing that like the way that they could be if it was organic growth without being pulled from the partner program. But it's not bad enough that I'm going to stop doing it. I'm just going to keep posting because I love doing this. I love making videos. So I'm going to keep doing it in hopes that I'll be back in their good graces at some point and I can just continue making a living doing it.
Yeah. And I know you mentioned earlier too that, some people will put all their eggs into one basket, and that basket could be like a YouTube channel, but you're actually branching out to other areas. Like you started your own clothing line. I think you released your own knife, the one that was posting, right?
Yeah. I actually got that right here. Can I show knives on here?
Oh, yeah.
Is this going on TikTok?
Yeah, everywhere except TikTok.
You have to hit something so they don't take it down.
Right. I started the clothing line like last year, and it's just like hats and shirts and hoodies and jackets and things like that because I'm always outside. So I like having like good quality gear. And I think going forward into this year, I'm going to work on more like higher end products like this. So this is a knife that I made in collaboration with a small knife maker that I met in the hometown that I grew up in. His company is called Two Feathers Productions, and he watched my channel, sent me some blades, and I loved them. So I was like, hey man, could I like design my own knife? And I basically took one of his designs and scaled it down for like an EDC blade. And I've literally been carrying this since I got it like a couple months ago now. So yeah, these are one big project that I'm working on. I do have my own signature pistol too, which I designed.
Oh, wow.
And that's a little bit more difficult to do than a knife just because of everything that's involved with that. But I'm going to be working on more projects like that, like really cool collaborative efforts between myself and other companies out there because I like reviewing things. So when I'm reviewing stuff that I like, it's cool to then collaborate with that company and put my own name on it too, because it's something that I use every day and I stand by it. So
definitely,
it's kind of where I'm going.
Do you? Because I've seen you post like it's like a Pelican case full of knives.
But it's it over there.
But they're all folders. Are you into the fixed blades?
Yeah. So definitely big into folders. I have like literally a rifle case with pick and pluck foam. I probably have like 84 folders or something like that. And a lot of them are kind of, I don't want to say sentimental, but like a lot of them were gifts from people. I visited ProTech down when I was traveling in the van in California, and I did a shop tour with them and we built a knife. So like that's a knife that I don't even carry, but it's one that I'll keep forever just because I got that memory with it. And that's kind of what knives mean to me a lot. Still something I use every day. And then I've always been into folders, but not for carrying them like every day until I was able to put my own spin on one like this. So I don't have quite as big of a fixed blade collection. I probably have like, I don't know, maybe 25, 30 fixed blades just from like testing knives and stuff like that. But I'm like fixed blade all the way now. And I was actually going to do some stuff with tops like a few years ago before COVID. I was working with Blade HQ and that was when Zach was still there. I don't know if you guys have ever met Zach.
But he was the one with the glasses, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was setting it all up and we were going to cut out blanks of like whatever we thought would be the best knife design. And we were going to go head to head. We were going to drive up to Idaho and cut them out, finish them and everything. And then do like almost like a Forged in Fire style competition. And it just never happened because the country was shutting down and everything. But yeah, I'd love to come up there.
You should one of these days. Afterwards, I'll get your info. We'll get you some stuff. We'll get you some stuff to test out. Hope let us know what you think. So
cool. Yeah,
we'll do that afterwards. But I want to get into. Where I found you was I was searching during the whole pandemic. It really shot up because people were outdoors more. They were going out.
It's crazy, dude.
And so everything went up. Like I remember he was trying to find razors, RVs, and then all of a sudden I started seeing like these vans pop up. Pop up. People are out and I'm like, people make these into homes. I remember seeing, Baby Yoda's. She had her
the pop up tent,
the pop up tent and stuff like that. And I didn't want to do something like that. I wanted to do something where it was just there, right? And so in my head, I'm like thinking maybe like a bigger school bus or something like that and making that into it.
Marvin, the school bus.
So I started like searching and then I started finding your stuff, but yours is like, wait.
Dude, you got an insane rig, man.
Yeah.
Like it's insane.
Yeah. I luckily did. I was into that stuff before like COVID, and everyone was like, I want to live on the road and be outdoors and stuff. I mean, I've always been outdoors, like even from a kid. And then I was moving around so much doing IT consulting that by the time I was on my last couple of assignments, like my very last one when I quit, I went from, I think I was working up near New Jersey, like Keyport, New Jersey, somewhere up there. And then I had to move down to Miami in like a week.
Ooh.
So I was living out of studio apartments for a long time. Like I'm a very minimal person when it comes to like stuff that I actually need to live. And I would load everything up in the back of I had a Subaru Crosstrek at the time. So just like a little small hatchback kind of style car, and threw all of my stuff in there. I was sleeping on an inflatable mattress. I had an inflatable sofa, like very, very minimal stuff. And I would travel all the way down to Miami, rent an apartment and set up. And I lived there for like 6 months. So I was kind of always like into that minimal thing. Not even like, I didn't do it on purpose. It was just like this makes my life so much easier with how much I'm moving. Like I'm just living like this. Like this is cool. And then when I quit my job and started doing YouTube full time, I was just like racking my brain thinking about like what the next steps would be. I didn't want to buy a house yet because I didn't want to like settle down. So I was like, I'm going to buy a van. And this is obviously luckily before the prices skyrocketed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got the van. I started traveling in it. I've had it for about 3, maybe coming up on 4 years, I think. And I was so used to living minimally that transitioning to living in a van was like super easy.
Like, this was nice.
Yeah. And like, granted, my van is like really hooked up. I got a shower and a toilet and a fridge and stovetop. I even installed a microwave and things like that. But it was pretty like turnkey from the start. And then as I traveled the country, I started upgrading it for whatever I needed. So bumpers, lights, a winch, more seating area, stuff to hold gear, like a mountain bike in the back, a trailer hitch to carry a motorcycle. So I'm kind of built it as I went along.
So how long into, like, you bought the van, right? And for those listening, I mean, we're going to put his link in the description and everything, go check out his YouTube, his Instagram, but it's a Mercedes Sprinter van.
So I kind of want to elaborate on your question. We both know how expensive these are, but was this like, you bought it for like, not just for, was it part of it kind of like for your content as well? Was that kind of the main purpose, or was it just because like it worked overall for everything, like content? It was going to work out for you living.
Yeah, it was definitely a combination of everything.
Yeah, and then I think the other question, like part of that question I wanted is like, how did that reflect onto your like your content, your views, like once you got that? Because like I'm saying, like we love that, and it's like an insane purchase for sure.
Like the content creation for that part, like I wasn't thinking like, oh, I'm going to have a cool van, so like my views are going to go up. Yeah. It never really affected it all that much because I make it like, you can't really put me in a single category for anything on my channel because I do a little bit of everything, which is why I call the series Stuff and Things. I'm always doing a bunch of random stuff, random things, whatever. And yeah, I bought the van knowing well it was a huge investment, because I mean, that could have easily been a down payment for a house. Yeah. So it was kind of the perfect combination of everything for me at the time. I had all the freedom anyone could ever want because I'm working for myself. I can travel the country, like no strings attached. So I bought the van knowing that I wanted to basically live in it at some point. So the first year I had the van, I did like a half cross country trip. Like I went down to a Blade show in Atlanta. I think it was in Atlanta. And then I ended up, I think I went to like Florida. I ended up coming out to Denver, Colorado, which is where I live now. And I had a bunch of friends out here, and then just kind of did like a little loop. And then just before COVID hit, I was planning to like go full time in the van. I wanted to hit all of the 48 states. I wanted to go up to Alaska, and then the country fell apart. So I kind of like sat stagnant for a little while, just still making videos like at home and everything at my family's house. And then once I realized that things weren't going to change and like there's still going to be restrictions and everything everywhere, I was like, I'm out, dude. I'm not sitting here anymore. So got in the van and left. And then I really haven't been back home since. So I lived in the van for 2 years. This is extremely long story short, but I ended up coming back through Denver a lot, like traveling out west. And then I came here a year and a half ago, and I was like, man, I love it here. I keep coming back here. I'm going to get an office space here because it's centrally located. And the next thing I know, like, I'm just going to build a house here. I'm still going to travel, but like, it's such a good centrally located spot that I can fly around the country for YouTube like I have to. And it's just, I love the mountains. I love being outdoors. So it just worked out perfectly.
Did it take a long time? Because you buy the van, did it take a long time to convert it over to what it is now? Or did you have it done all at once?
So it started its life. It's actually a Winnebago product. It's called the Winnebago Revel. So I knew I didn't want to build out my van, which I have good enough know-how, woodworking skills, and I could put a van together, but not as nice or as quickly as just buying a turnkey option. So when I bought the van, it's more like RV style, like mainly for like older generations, but it was 4-wheel drive, and that was my main thing. I wanted a 4-wheel drive, and I wanted a Sprinter van. So it had a bed, had the shower and the toilet, the plumbing. Basically, the plumbing and the electrical were the main things that I didn't want to deal with. So I just got the turnkey option, and then as I started traveling and using it and abusing it, I was like, okay, these are the things that I need to upgrade now. So I've worked with a lot of van companies too. So after living in the van for so long and working on the van myself, I could definitely build a very nice van. But at the time, I was still new to it, so it was just the easiest option for me.
I wanted to ask, just because you've been contemplating about like getting into like one of those, what maybe just like a price difference, is it worth doing it yourself? Like, let's say we try to build something like what you have going on, maybe not with all the options, but like the inside of like the turnkey, like you said.
Yeah.
Is it a huge difference, or do you think it's like, if
Might
you
as well pay the money.
might as well,
done.
yeah.
Yeah, it depends what you want to do with it. Like if you want to live in the van, a turnkey option is a really, really good way to do it, because then you have dealers to support any kind of like warranty stuff all around the country. If you're just getting into a van for like weekend trips or like long road trips for a week or two, if I was doing that, I would probably build a van myself. Like right now, if I didn't have a van, I have other vehicles now. So like for a while there, the van was my only vehicle. I am only using the van now for like long road trips and stuff. So I don't need all the functionality that I have on the van. So I would probably build my own like super bare bones, like really easy lithium electrical system, not a whole lot of water, because generally like you can shower at truck stops and stuff like that. So I would go more bare bones if I was doing it now. But if it's like something that you really want to tackle and get into and live out of, then I think a turnkey option, there's really great turnkey options out there.
Did you see a huge, especially during the whole pandemic time, did you see a huge spike in like views for your van?
A few videos performed pretty well, like that were reaching outside of my subscriber base too. So since I was doing van stuff full time, like it was a van video Monday, Wednesday, Friday for almost 2 years. I definitely gained like a new audience base, which I like doing. Like I like covering all of my hobbies and having a little bit of a connection with my audience, no matter what we're talking about. So nothing went like crazy viral. I did some cool trips. Like there was this, you guys ever hear about the monolith that was in Utah?
Oh yeah.
That big silver thing. Yeah. I happened to be in, I was actually up near you guys. I was in, I think, Jackson Hole the day before.
Okay.
So I was coming down through Wyoming into Utah, and people are blowing up my phone, like DMs on Instagram. They're like, they know I like space and like aliens and stuff like that. And they're like, yo, go find this monolith. So I dug around on the internet, found coordinates on Reddit, and then I went out in the van, like just mobbing through the desert to find this thing. And I made a video of the whole thing, found it, took some photos, like flew the drone. It was really cool. And then the next day it was like taken down and ripped out. So there were some news articles. I think CNN was the first one that reached out. They're like, hey, can we use some of your videos to cover this topic? And I was like, sure, whatever.
Send the check over.
That video did pretty good, but nothing really went super viral. And I think my standards of what I would consider viral have definitely been increased since I do this full time now. Yeah. So
did you ever get to the point where it's because I asked some other YouTubers this, is they get more worried about the views, the likes, and things like that rather than the content? Did you ever get to that point? Because I mean, I haven't really seen it on your channel. Like you're always putting out good content. You know, it's never like, oh, I'm just gonna put out a video or try to go viral this time. You know, was it ever at that point? Did you ever get to that point?
Yeah, I never purposely made a video to like go viral. Like I see all these trends and stuff like that, and I'm just like, I appreciate them. I still love watching YouTube, but I'm not one to like chase after numbers. And I think that's where a lot of people fail. Like, don't get into YouTube to make money because like someone like me is kind of in the minority. Like it's kind of rare for it to happen. You have to put in, like, people don't understand how much work you have to put in to make it actually beneficial. Early on, I was always like very obsessed with looking at my subscriber count and view counts on videos and stuff like that. And then after doing it for so long, I used to set subscriber number goals each year. I'll do like a recap video and be like, I think my goal for this year is to get another 100,000 subscribers. And after being pulled from the partner program twice, like I don't even think about that stuff now. I'm just happy that I do have an audience of people who like the same things as me. I like having conversations with them in the comment section, and what it comes down to is just, I'm super thankful that I'm able to do what I love whenever I want, wherever I want, and I can make a living doing it. So.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up. Like a lot of people just see you out having fun. See you going on hikes, long drives, living off the van, but they don't see the constant like editing, getting there, the long drives. Of course, you're not going to record the entire road trip there. Like all the driving, like all the behind the scenes. People always see like what you put on Instagram and YouTube, but they don't see all the behind the scenes. They think your entire life is just like what you put on there, but you do a lot of editing. You have a lot of other businesses going on, and it's stress from those. Like you're trying to figure those out and things like that. So I'm glad you bring that up, just because that's my biggest thing. Is like people will always see, oh, he's doing this. You make it seem easy, but it's in reality it's not that easy. You just gotten to the point, like what works, what doesn't work. I had another question on your van. Is there some things on the van that because I've seen several people on Instagram, like they have their vans, they're out traveling, posting really nice pictures, but you brought one up earlier. A lot of them go shower at truck stops. They're sleeping in Walmarts, Planet Fitnesses, just because they can't park anywhere else. Is there some things in the beginning that you did not, that caught you off guard? Like, it was pretty hard in the beginning?
So like a lot of people, especially like people who try to tackle Instagram as a full-time thing. I hate the term influencers, but a lot of people consider themselves that. They definitely glorify van life. And I knew that was all bullshit going into it. Like I can just see all that stuff. And it's pretty clear if you've traveled before that that that's not how they're living every single day. Like I'm literally sitting at where I edit right now. I filmed a full video. I ran 6 cameras yesterday between drones and photos and action cameras. People will only see like 5% of my entire day yesterday. So obviously when people see my content on YouTube, like they're getting the highlights, they're getting the fun stuff that's interesting to watch. But if you go through my van playlist on my channel, when I was living in the van, I made sure to include the boring stuff, the shit that sucked, like breaking the van and getting stuck places, sleeping in Walmart parking lots. Like I made it as realistic as possible, because that's just like, I don't need people to think that I make a ton of money and I'm just like living this extravagant life, because I'm not. I'm still just a normal dude. So I kept a lot of the raw aspects in a lot of those videos when I was living in the van.
Yeah. Is there something that, say someone that's listening is looking to get into this, is there something that they should include in their builds? Because that's my biggest thing. I'm always looking at videos, and like, for me, I'm a huge shower guy. You know, I like to take, sometimes I take like 2 to 3 showers a day, just because I like to, I don't know, I like the feeling. It's weird. So I was like, if I build one, it's gonna have to have a shower.
You have to carry a pool in there, bro.
Yeah, or water.
Yeah.
Is there some things that you would recommend to people to actually invest the money into, like, and getting it done right the first time?
So, I mean, it really depends on like how you want your vehicle set up. I knew I wanted a shower too, because I planned on living in it. So that's why I went with the turnkey option. When you start getting into more complex plumbing and electrical systems as well, that's when the price goes up and complications go up too. So, yeah, I mean, if you know that you really want a shower in the van, then make that a priority. Like, make that space a little bit bigger. Make sure that everything is done right for that. There's nothing that I like regret putting on the van or even not having on the van. I think after living in it, I got it dialed in pretty good. But yeah, like, if you know you want a shower, you got to do it right from the beginning. You have to get the plumbing right, get the space laid out properly, because you don't want to make something too small or have like crappy plumbing, because that shit's going to break. Like, I actually had, just recently, I posted a video of my van had a water leak, and it was a nightmare fixing that. So, I'm posting a video this coming week. I had another problem with the van, because it's getting up there. It's got like 60,000 miles on it now. And I had another problem, super dangerous situation, but it died in the middle of an interstate up in the Rockies, like on a mountain pass.
Oh.
And I document that stuff because it's real. And like, I'll get a lot of like backlash from it, like, oh, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're doing. But I'm like, hey man, this is reality of it. Like, I'm sharing this with people out there because I know someone's going to benefit from seeing that stuff.
Yeah, and it's cool that you show, like, you know, both aspects, because some, like you said, these influencers, they're showing just the highlights. They're not showing the bad stuff, the just sitting around, like figuring out what to do. Like in your situation, like always creating some new content, you know, like what's next? Like, what am I going to do next? You always have to be thinking of like those things as well, too.
Do you ever get like creator burnout? Like, you're like, some days you're like,
I don't think I've ever had like full burnout. I think mainly because, I don't know, I'm just a really like laid back person as it is. So kind of like what we were talking about, like worrying about view counts and subscriber counts and stuff like that. If I ever start to feel like I'm overworking myself, I'll just slow down on making videos. I'll never not post a weekly video. Like, I've been posting at least one video a week for over 5 years now, since I started my main channel, and I'll never not do that. I've definitely felt close to that burnout, but then I have a good sense of it. So I'm like, okay, I'm not enjoying this right now, so I got to switch gears. I got to do something different.
yeah.
And luckily, I think I've just found a good balance with all of the things that I do.
Do you have like a schedule? I know a lot of people, that's what they do, like every Wednesday at this time, or you kind of
video schedule. I try to stick with a schedule for as long as possible. So like right now I'm posting Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
And then on my gun channel, I'm posting every other Sunday. So that's kind of like my rough posting schedule. And then I just base my life around that. So like, I'm editing this video that I'm working on right now because I know I have to post this coming Thursday. So I already have Tuesday video with the van breaking down up. And then yesterday we went out and filmed all day so I can post this Thursday. So then my videos are covered for this week. And then during this coming week, I'll go out and go camping or take the truck out. Like I'll just work on content for the future. That way I'm always a little bit ahead and I'm not so stressed out about having to make a video.
Is it easier now, like in your position, like to reach out to other content creators and then like scheduling something to go visit them and then create content that way?
Yeah, like when I was traveling around the country, that was perfect for that because I always had a lot of creator friends, but obviously they're all spread out throughout the country. So I'd hit them up and be like, yo, next week I'll be in San Antonio. You want to meet up? And they're like, yeah, sure. So I definitely did a lot more collaborations while I was on the road. And then even now, like Baby Yoda and her husband, they were hitting me up. I forget when we planned this. It was back in the summertime. We were down at Overland Expo in Flagstaff. They're like, oh, you should come up and we'll go skiing this winter. I was like, cool. So it was like a 9.5 hour drive from Colorado and made my way up there, made some videos and just hung out. So yeah, I don't really go out of my way to like make a collaborative video with people, but I just like hanging out with like-minded people. So I'll just go and have no plans, just kind of hang out and just film whatever we're doing.
Are there any plans of you like driving around the country again and doing that? Yeah,
for sure. Like between like Christmas time, like a little after Thanksgiving up until around this time of year is sort of like my slow time where I can like hang out and sort of figure out plans for the year. But now my schedule is filling up like crazy. So my next big trip will actually be in my truck, which I've been building, and that's going to start in the beginning of May. So I'm going from Colorado, I'm going up to the Pacific Northwest, and then I'm doing like a big loop through the Western states, going to end up at Overland Expo again, where I was hanging out with Baby Yoda. And that'll be one of my biggest trips this year, I think. And then you never know, like I'll get invited someplace on the East Coast and I'm like, all right, I guess I'll load up the van and drive out instead of flying. So I try to keep blocks in my schedule open. That way I can travel because I love doing it.
Yeah, if you're ever like in this area, definitely reach out. We would love you to come over to the Tops headquarters and like just hang out, create some content. Recently we had some videos go viral of us beating up a car, mainly because the reason we were beating it up was because we were trying to dull the knives because we were trying to do some sharpening videos. And I always tell people, we're not going to sit there and feather stick and chop wood for hours to dull them out. I'm like, I'm going to go find the quickest way to dull out a blade so we can make the video in like 10 minutes. So we went out there and we just beat up. We have this a junk car and we just beat it up. And he was beating it up. I was filming him. That video is up to like almost 10 million views and like we get so much.
On TikTok?
Yeah, no, that one's on Facebook. Facebook, we've been going viral on Facebook.
Facebook
which is a lot harder.
Us.
Like going viral on like Facebook and Instagram is a lot harder than it is on TikTok because TikTok we've gone viral in some videos, but it's weird how like the weirdest thing and the caption has a lot to do with it. He was cleaning the snow off the car. And people were just roasting him in the comments.
People were mad. Like, dude, that's a joke.
Like, they don't
that's
see
the internet, man.
Yeah, so if you're ever in the area, and you mentioned Blade Show, like, we usually go to a lot of the Blade shows, too. So if you're ever in the area to one of the Blade shows, stop by the Tops booth. We're there. Love to hang out with you, chat with you. Because we love what you do. Several of us follow you, like myself, John, Craig, who's the general manager there. That's who I thought you were talking with. But now I found out it was the guy over at Blade HQ. Yeah. And
well, he was probably talking to Craig then.
Yeah,
because I hadn't really. I mean, I talked with some of you guys at Tops at like SHOT Show and things like that, but just like in passing at the booth.
He's not there at Blade HQ anymore, is he?
No, not the guy he's talking about.
Yeah, Zach is no longer there.
Yeah. So like, if you ever get a chance, like if you go to a Blade again, like we're gonna be at Blade Texas, Blade East, Blade West. NRA is another one we go to, and we got back from SHOT not too long ago, which was really cool. I thought they were going to cancel, to be honest, but
I skipped this year.
But it was actually not that bad. We're I'm not trying to plug them or anything or like trying to hype us up, but Tops is like one of the like top fixed blade companies, and our booth was packed. Like it wasn't, the attendance at the show was actually low, but our booth did not seem like it. You know,
dude,
people,
it was insane.
other companies were coming over. There was a company down a few booths down, and she came over here and she did this weird thing. She like walked to the other side of the booth and looked, and then and I was like, "Whoa, is there anything I can help you with?" And she's like, "What are you guys doing over here?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "You guys are like literally packed the entire time, and there's not that much attendance. You know, like the attendance doesn't match your guys' booth." And I'm like, "We just sell fixed blades." I'm like, I mean, all USA made, badass blades. That's why, like, afterwards, you know, I'll get your information. Like, I'll let you see for yourself. You know, once you get your, I don't know if you own any right now.
I don't. I almost bought one at SHOT like 2 years or whenever the last one was, like 3 years ago. But I didn't want to fly with a giant sword in my bag.
Oh,
so
he probably was looking
it
at the
didn't
Kuma
happen.
cage.
Yeah.
Dude, you guys have so many variants of like wicked blade shapes for like you could do anything with them. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely familiar with your blades, but I don't own any right now.
Well, we're gonna have to change that.
Yeah.
But what are your? So you said the Overlanding Expo. That's your next place that you're gonna be at.
I actually have a travel schedule, like a public travel schedule on my website. And the next trip I'm doing is I'm actually getting a loaner van. So I'm keeping my van here in Colorado, and this company who builds badass vans, I think they're going to drop one off here, and I'm going to take it out to Southern California. I've been working with One Wheel. They make like electric boards.
Yeah, those
And
things are
then
badass.
I'm also a professional freestyle skier. So the company that I ride for they're based out of Oregon now. So I'm going to go to Southern California. I'm going to go up to Lake Tahoe. We're going to ride there for a week, and then I'm going to make my way back to Colorado. So that'll be like a 2-week trip. And that's coming up like, I think next week I leave or 2 weeks from now. So I got crazy travel schedules.
Yeah, and it's cool that something that you love to do, and what got you there was just a little bit of consistency, you know, because you said you've been posting at least one video a week for 5 years now, you know, and people don't realize that. That's why, like, when people want to start something, I'm not saying don't start it. By all means, like, start whatever you want to do. Like, if you want to do YouTube channel, cool. But but you have to keep doing it. Don't expect overnight success unless you do something crazy wild and go viral. Of course, then you'll blow up really quick. Mm-hmm. But then, like, in order to build a successful channel, you know, you have to build that content, you know, those followers, that base, and it takes time. Like, just like anything, it takes consistency. If you want to work out and get lean, it's not going to happen overnight. You know, it's the same thing. Like, you have to be consistent. Yeah. You know, so
For sure.
So that's a public thing. Give people the information. Like, where I'm gonna put it in the description down below. But where are some of the places they can visit you, like your website, your Instagram, and things like that?
Yeah, my website, you can find everything over there. It's SEI productions.com. You can find my podcasts, all my YouTube channels, because I have a few of them, and then my clothing store, all that stuff's over there, contact form. And then on social media, it's basically just Talon SEI across everything on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. Just TALON SEI.
And I mean, before we go, I wanted to ask you this earlier too. What's one of the craziest stories that you've seen traveling around? Like, because we all know some people are just weird. You know, I've gone to Blade Show Atlanta, and for those people who have never been to a Waffle House, either late at night or early in the morning, you see some weird stuff. You know, what's some of the crazy stuff that you've seen being on the road?
Dude, Blade Show is pretty weird. Like, I understood the knife community, but until I saw them all together in one big area like that, I'm like, yo, knife people are weird. And I'm one of those weirdos, but like, knife people are real weird. I stay off the beaten path quite a lot. Like, when I was traveling, I was probably spending 80% of my time in national forest and like BLM land when I'm out west. So I honestly don't have many like crazy stories of like encounters with people. I've seen some wild stuff. I've had some wild situations. But I get asked that a lot, and there's really nothing that sticks out to me because I spent a lot of time by myself, which I enjoy. I'm typically pretty introverted, although people don't think that because I put my life on the internet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I unfortunately don't have any like good, crazy people stories or anything like that.
What about animals? Have you ever ran into any wildlife that You're like, this is it.
Yeah,
Nothing.
nothing like dangerous. I ran into some animals like while hiking and stuff like that, especially out here. I mean, I've woken up some mornings and there's like a herd of elk laying right behind my van, and it's just super cool. Like you hear them bugling and everything. Just 2 days ago, I was out with my Tacoma out on some trails and saw a bunch of moose like laying in the snow. So I take photos of that stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say you should take some photos and sell them to National Geographic, because it's really difficult for those that people don't know. I mean, even moose. Moose are really angry animals. Like if you run up on the wrong one, they're gonna attack you. And so getting close to them, you either have to have like a 400 millimeter lens or something bigger, which are not cheap, by the way. They're like 15,000, 16,000. Or like in your case, just open the
window down.
Yeah.
Open the door. But dude, I appreciate it for jumping on with us and talking with us. There's so much more that we could have got into, but obviously it's kind of hard to get into your entire life. Hopefully later on when you do happen to come by Idaho again, you stop by the headquarters. We do another podcast here because we also have one over there. We can do one there, here, in person. It's a lot cooler because just based off your Instagram, your social medias, and based off Baby Yoda too, you're one badass dude, cool guy, really humble and willing to do stuff like this. You know what I mean? Like some people, those numbers get to their head. And then all of a sudden, it's because I reached out to somebody and they wanted a huge paycheck. I'm like, dude,
to do a podcast.
Yeah, like I'm like, dude, we're just talking, we're just hanging out. It actually helps you more. Like people get to listen to you about your life and things like that. So, but again, thank you for jumping on. We appreciate it.
Of course.
Nice meeting you.
And then you guys listening, we'll catch you guys in the next one. See you guys.
Thanks, guys.